Hi, this is Astrology Intuition with Amy Lynn. I'm Amy and I'm your host. I'm an intuitive astrologer. I take a Western lens with a very intuitive, galactic, evolutionary approach to how I see things. And I use my foundational work as a former therapist to bring in self-development, personal growth, themes of really working with anything that's bringing you hardship or challenge or pain or opportunities for growth, and using your birth chart as a catalyst to expand your consciousness, to come into a deeper sense of self-acceptance and self-love, and to move through your life with some detachment and some understanding of all the energies always being something that influence how you feel and think in your day-to-day life. It's not just you. Don't believe your brain. It might be the energies. So today I'm going to be talking about the new moon in Sagittarius, which is on December 19th, 2025, just before we land into the quietude of the winter solstice. Before I get started, I wanted to invite you to something I'm doing for free this Friday. Um, it's actually happening on the new moon, but it's for the year ahead energies and for the winter solstice. So I'm doing a free hour-ish long presentation of a preview of the 2026 energies. So you can get a little quick handle on how next year is looking, energetically speaking, astrologically speaking. It is a huge year. I hope you can join me. I am going to be recording it, and I will send that to everyone who's registered. So wherever you're listening to or watching this podcast, in the link below the show, you can find um, the link to register, and it is a totally free thing. I'm going to start by talking about the energies, and at the back half, I'm going to be doing something that I'm kind of known for, which is kind of doing these channel transmissions, which are like really guided meditations, bringing you into certain energies and certain frequencies within yourself to be really tuned and energetically to the current quality of time and the energies that are here for us now, and kind of letting you have a reset in your system as we settle into this new moon ahead of the winter solstice, ahead of the new year energy coming, so that you can get maybe more aligned with your deeper self, deeper truth, deeper connection to your soul. So please subscribe while you're here. I'm pretty new at doing these podcasts on a regular basis. I've been trying to shift myself out of my therapy work, which has been 26, 27 years of my life doing that. And I'm trying to show up more in this astrological energetic space because this is really where I live and where my gifts are. And I want to be able to help you. So I'm going to be doing these podcasts definitely on every new moon. I'm aiming to get some full moon ones in there as well. And in the new year, I hope to be really committed to a new pattern of this. My main hub for all of my stuff that I share is basically my Instagram and my Substack as the places that really kind of hold the base container. Both of them are Astrology Intuition, and I'll put the links below here as well. Instagram is more of like little notes of when I post things and just kind of a place to find me. Sometimes I go live on there along with my podcast and just record my podcast live. Substack is where I'm really getting myself sorted out with putting energies for every solar month. So I actually have a Capricorn season coming out really soon because we're almost there, believe it or not. And so you get a month ahead of the energy outlook. And then I have a paid subscriber level that's $11 a month where I really go day by day through the entire detailed. I have a Virgo moon. It's all of the specific aspects that are happening throughout the month, where they're happening, what sign, what exact degree, how to work with them in your chart, a little bit from my kind of personal growth element of trying to bring in questions for reflection and ways you can work with those energies. So that's always really the bottom line of what I want to do, is to help you get to know your own birth chart deeper and work with that as we move through time and space, which is the astrology of the current time and the transits that are happening now. That's why astrology is very unique and personal for everybody, because it's working with the energies in our chart differently based on what your natal chart is. And that's what I teach. I also have a bunch of programming coming up in the new year. Just follow all my stuff. I have a million places to find me, but Substack or Instagram are like a good base place to get everything. You can also text the word astro to a phone number that I'll put below. and get text messages alerts that way too. I'm going to be offering 3 tiers of ongoing monthly mentoring where you learn astrology through learning your own chart. And then there's just different levels of like how much time commitment and how much in depth you want to go into that and how much personal customization. So I'm going to have the tiers listed below too, so you can get a feel for that. You can tell that I am in Sag season right now because one thing when the sun is in Sagittarius, it just takes us up and out and expansive. It's about learning, it's about traveling, it's about being our expanded versions of ourselves. I'm a Sagittarius rising, so I think I've probably talked enough for my intro here. I want to show you the chart and get to the new moon energies, but I just wanted you to know that I have a lot happening, a lot coming, and I'm really excited to work directly with you. I'm also doing year ahead readings. I'll put that below too. It's a lot of stuff. So what I usually like to do for the new moon readings is to show you the actual chart. Even if you can't read a chart, I just find that it gives a really like a felt sense resonance of the energies. And you can, even if you can't tell what's exactly happening, you'll get a feel of the vibration. So if you're watching on video, I'm going to go ahead and share my chart here. If you're not, there's definitely ways you can pull the chart yourself by putting in, I'm in Colorado, so I'm in mountain time. This new moon is exact on Friday, December 19th at 6:43 p.m. So you can actually make a birth chart yourself if you're just listening. You can pause it, make one, and look at the chart too. But what is massive in this chart is squares. There's 16 squares. I'm including some asteroids. I like to work with the asteroids because they really hold the sacred feminine and they're ignored in most conventional and traditional astrology. But they're really important. And when you include Ceres, specifically Vesta and Juno, they're all in squares this around this time as well. So there's 16 squares. Let's just talk about the energy of a square. The energy of a square is uncomfortable. It can be about tension. It can be just like kind of a hard stop, like there's a no here, and we have to kind of get through this before we can move on. It's energies coming from 2 different zodiac signs that are in different modalities and different elements, so they just don't understand each other. I like to think about trying to like work it out with someone who's just on every different far end of the spectrum as you are, trying to come to an agreement or a decision together. Like you just have to really take your time and negotiate and work through that to get there. So 16 of these energies, it is a lot. Just to normalize and validate for you. If you are feeling gut punched, if you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling like things just cannot flow and work how you need them to, maybe even how you deserve them to, there's just a lot of full steps and a lot of stress. There's a lot of extra stress right now. And we can look in the world and see and feel that from the context we're living in, but it's also happening astrologically. In a bit of good news, which I always like to bring you, we are past the shadow of Mercury. Mercury is retrograde in November and into December, and what we consider the degree points where Mercury started moving retrograde. We wait till Mercury gets all the way back to that point and then clears it to say that Mercury has cleared its shadow, which means any of the sloggy, slow, frustrating energy of Mercury is going to be smoother. That means communications are smoother, energies can flow a little bit more, we can move forward how we need to. That said, I'm also thinking about the place where Mercury has been and went retrograde was into Scorpio, which it's like there's like a heavy load, like there's a lot to unpack, is how that feels to me. So and pardon my kind of like informal presentation. I'm just sitting at my office with my notes here and ad-libbing as I go. But I do this in one take. I don't edit. So when I need to put my AirPod away so I don't forget where to put it later and lose it in my pocket, that's why. Anyhow, funny little moments. I like to teach through the reality of things, and that's such a little like dinky Mercury clearing its shadow, like, oh yeah, remembering the details of communication, my AirPods. Anyway, um, so if you're still kind of working through the baggage, working through, the integration of whatever you dug deep on or whatever just came up and surfaced for you, whether you plan to dig deep on that or not, there's a lot to work through. I'm picturing like almost like if you've ever gone to a crystal mine and it's, you're kind of sifting through like tons and tons of maybe interesting rocks, but they're not special crystals, and you're looking for quartz or something, and you have to really sift and shake and dig through and find those little gems. And that's kind of the energy of what we're doing. But it's not easy. And the rocks that we're sort of like pulling through and looking through um, are many, and the gems are few. It's kind of like that energy. So keep looking, keep digging. In fact, the main theme that I'm feeling for this new moon, I'm calling it Keep the Faith. And that has to do with just how I think hard we've been working, how frustrating and difficult and challenging things have been, how much despair energy has been here. There might be personal despair, there might be stuff happening in the collective. Of course, there's stuff happening in the collective. All these things too depend on where the astrology has hit your chart personally. So it really is important to get to know your birth chart if you want to learn and understand more how these events, these lunar cycles, or the transits happening right now affect you personally. We've just gotten through a mutable grand cross. And if you have anything in mutable signs in mid degrees, around 15-ish, I think it happened at 13 degrees, give or take a few degrees in either direction, of Gemini, of Virgo, of Sagittarius, of Pisces, that created a cross energy. And it was very much, it made me feel a lot of the Hanged Man tarot card, like just being in suspension, not being able to choose or move or take action or find clarity. And that's just been sort of like this lagging, ongoing feel. And then we get hit with all these squares, which have been happening like every couple of days and continue. And you can see in the charts, this little red area here, this whole section is squares happening between Sagittarius and Pisces, and then a little bit from Capricorn to Aries, which is going to be where a lot of these squares start to move in the new cycle of the planets changing to more cardinal signs next year, which we'll get to in my little preview talk. For now, what I do want to say, because I like to bring in a little bit of positive before I just stay with all the stuff that's been hard, even though this timeline has just been challenging. There's a lot of exciting opportunities for expansion and raising your consciousness. So even while we're going through the hardship and the tension of the squares, there's a lot of new directions that could be coming in for you. It's a little bit like it or not, or you might not feel like this is the direction you wanted to choose, and it's just being sort of like put in your way as a barrier to make a different choice. But I feel there's a lot of galactic support for opening our consciousness to something more. Part of it is, I love to talk about Third Eye Atlas, the third um, identified interstellar object that has been traveling through our solar system. We still don't really know what this thing is, and it moves closest to the Earth the same day as the new moon, which I don't know. I don't think things are a coincidence. To me, Three Eye Atlas has just been opening us up, showing us something new. There's a new consciousness that is beyond anything we could fathom or imagine that's present and possible for us. And so, if you can pull yourself out of that ego pain, human level, mental monkey mind, thinking brain level of the hardship energies and the squaring energies that are here, if you can pull yourself up and get some altitude and some distance and depersonalization from how things feel, you're going to be able to see things in a totally new way. You're going to be able to open to possibilities, potentials. The potential beyond potential is one of my themes for next year for 2026. So I feel like these squares are kind of shaking us out of our rigidity or our like getting too fixated on how we think something should be this or this is really what I want to do. And there's going to be new choices that we don't even have on our radar yet, which is amazing. But like I said, the Grand Cross oh my gosh, mutable Grand Cross energy from the last full moon, just kind of holding us in suspension. Those of us who have those mid-degree points in mutable signs, now things are getting hit at the end degrees, the last 5 degrees or so of all the mutable signs. So this energy might be still pulling through those of us that got kind of knocked down by or suspended by the mid degrees hits. But some of you may have been fine during that time, but now you're feeling it. And it's because you have things at late degrees of mutable signs. So, like I said, come learn with me. I will teach you how to track your birth chart all the way through. And you know what? I want to just say this is a little side plug. I don't do advertisements here, but I do share things that I think are awesome. And I absolutely love the Honeycomb Planner. And it's made by astrologers. They're in, I think, Portland. And it is the most brilliant way to track and start to learn your own chart day by day and a calendar layout in a written hand planner. And you can get there's all kinds of choices. In fact, if you want to if you don't have a personal astrologer and you just want to reach out to me and ask me what selection should I make when I'm ordering my book, I'm happy to tell you. But this is a great time to order one for January. It does take a few weeks to arrive to you because it is custom made to you and your chart, which is what's so amazing about it. But the best way to learn astrology is to live your life through day by day and feel what life feels like, and then to start to understand how the transits are working with you and working with your energies. Anyway, okay. I'm going to look back at my notes because I haven't looked at them yet, and I know I'm not saying some things that I wanted to say. Oh, I know. This new moon is conjunct the galactic center. Okay. So the new moon is happening at, if I can see in the dark here, 20, oh my God. I think it's 20. I can go in here and zoom in actually. Yeah, 28 degrees, 25 minutes. The galactic center is at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. So if you're looking at the screen, that's like right about here. What's the galactic center is like, think of it like how the sun is the core of our solar system. The galactic center is the core of our galaxy. Okay. Can you even think about this? So it's like, I'm going to use scientific words here. It's a gajillion times bigger than the sun, but we're all meaning like, I don't know, all of us beings in the entire galaxy are like moving and oriented toward around the galactic center. So it's like the actual force of magnetic pull or like sort of a gravitational-ish like pull is not toward our sun. That's just us here in our tiny little solar system. But the whole big Milky Way galaxy is moving toward the galactic center or orienting to it. So it's huge consciousness. It's more than we can understand. The fact that it's conjunct the galactic center and Three-Eye Atlas is closest in proximity to the Earth at the same time as a new moon in Sagittarius, which let's just break this down for a second and say, what is a new moon? It's always a beginning, a starting point, a slowing down into listening to that zodiac sign and being with that sign. And the sign of Sagittarius is about expansion, exploration, travel, get out of here, get off get out of your comfort zone and go somewhere, think differently, get bigger, like that kind of energy. So the new moon does want us to, this one in particular, really wants us to sit with what's possible. Okay. So I'm saying keep the faith and sit with what's possible. Open yourself to bigger consciousness. Keep thinking, I might not know the answers to my own questions yet. These squares that are coming in and hitting me, these might not be like might be looking at choice A and choice B, and it's actually choice Z that's going to end up being the right thing for me. Like we might be so far away from even knowing, like we can see the obstacles, but we can't see the potential of what's beyond them. And that's this moon does have this like peeking around a corner to just find another corner kind of feel to it. And I think we're going to know a lot more once we get through that sort of portal of the winter solstice, which is on the 21st at 8:08 a.m. Mountain Time. Okay, let's see what else I'm going to talk about. Oh, here's the nostalgic part. I mean, there's lots of, for me, this has been a very raw, emotional couple of weeks. I have a lot of personal planets being affected by both the last full moon and this new moon, as well as people who are close to me in my life being affected. So there's a lot of big stuff going on. But one of my pieces that's just like a galactic collective nostalgia feeling that isn't really personal is that we are experiencing the last time in our lifetimes, in our children's lifetimes, where the sun is going to square Neptune in Pisces. And it's happening at the tail end, the last degree of Pisces, the last degree of the entire zodiac wheel. So there's just this quality of, even if you didn't love the feeling of Neptune in Pisces, It's the end of that. It's the end of a 14-year period that has been defined energetically and spiritually by Neptune moving through its home base of Pisces. And there's going to be some big time new cycles starting and reinventions and new dreams coming in that come through in the early part of 2026 as Neptune moves forward and starts the wheel all over. But this is the last time the sun, our vitality, our sense of self and purpose stops and checks in and wants to just sit down with Neptune and feel that feeling of that spiritual awakening energy that you've likely been in and connected to for the past 14 years. If you actually think back and go like do a little timeline, I'm an art therapist in my bones. So draw a timeline, draw what's happened for you in the last 14 years and let it connect to your sense of spiritual, um, creative parts of yourself that have awakened and where you are now with that, because that is about to sink into your bones as Saturn comes through and strengthens it on Saturn's way past that same point, not very much longer, um, before we get to this massive once in a thousands and thousands of years situation where Neptune and Saturn will be precisely conjunct at 0 degrees, the beginning of the entire zodiac wheel on February 20th. I'm sure every astrologer is blasting you with this information. We will talk about it a little bit on my free talk on the 19th. By the way, if you're listening to this podcast and it's already past the 19th, just reach out to me. Find me on social media, DM me, find my website. It's all there's a million links below the show to find me. And just ask me for the recording and I can directly send it to you, but it's going to be a link, so I have to email it to you. Anyway, okay. Um, what do I want to say with that? So I'm always looking at like what's the highest vibration of the aspect, the sun square to Neptune. The highest vibration of that to me is in finding absolute surrender inside of yourself and coming into your own calm corridor within where you can be okay detaching and letting go from any kind of knowing or any kind of outcome or any kind of egoic connection or over attachment to something. Try to come out of rigidity, try to come out of this or that kind of thinking. Let the universe expand you rather than you expanding out into the universe. Like, let the universe hold you. Let the galactic center pull you out of your comfort zone into something bigger, exploring something you've never explored before. You might be unknowingly limiting yourself to what's really possible. And I'm telling you, the energy of next year, while it's like a lot and it's a lot, it's initiation after initiation after initiation, it's also really the wider the altitude view of that is you don't even know what's possible and you're not going to know. It's like get out of the way with your knowing and just let the universe be there for you. Let the universe hold you. Speaking of which, if you have attachment stuff or things that make trust and safety feel hard, like to release and to surrender, you have to feel fairly safe. You have to feel pretty trusting. And so anything you have that is blocking you from that, guess what? Lovely. On the 18th, we have Venus trining Chiron. I feel like this is like a sweet salve for healing. It's a tender ease to the places that have been hurting. There's a lot of hurting right now. There's a lot of wounding and bruising and pain happening. And this just brings like a sweet ease or a softness. Use it. It's harder. It's not going to be as in your face as all the squares are going to feel. So you're going to have to kind of find that energy. Listen to the trees. Go to nature. Chiron loves nature, loves plant medicine and herbs and just sitting with the water and letting the water kind of give you the codes, like that kind of energy. I think of light codes from the sun, the warmth of the sun. Also, your guides, which you all have, are awakening stronger connection to your field. It's like your energy field is like upgrading its tuning capacity to be able to just like feel and sense the energy from your guides. Guides being, neutral to positive energetics and probably other dimensions and other, non-human form, anything from symbols, dreams, um, just hearing like a certain mythological story somewhere out in the world and there's like a symbolism there or a meaning that's really strong for you. It could be things like music and numbers and things like that. It could be your animals communicating with you more and differently. But your inner world can finally hear and see more of the clear messaging. So let your clairs wake up, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairaudience. Let yourself feel clairsentience, the knowing, and trust that. This age, the age of Pluto being in Aquarius until 2044, is about knowing your own truth within. And I think that the guides are tightening their channels to us, like really dialing that in and cleaning it up so that those of us working with consciousness and here for unity, love energies, and the highest vibration that we can bring to ourselves and to the planet is supported. It's like supported at a galactic level right now. Um, yes. And then as we move through the new moon, we will land in the sacred portal of the winter solstice. I'm in the northern hemisphere, so I very much relate to this as it's like such a quiet dark night, but the next day, the very next day, the sun rises just a touch earlier. If you are not getting up and getting your eyeballs and your skin out into the morning red light of the sun, please start doing that. That is one of our biggest healing tools that we can use for self-healing. What else do I want to say? The new moon is a great way if you are tracking like small increments of progress and self-growth because it just gives us one lunar cycle to the next, just a month-long cycle until the next new moon, which will happen in Capricorn. And so it's just like a nice way to start to track if you're just beginning this journey. But I would love to have you and any of my tiers of support, mentoring, learning astrology start at $44 a month. In January. There will be more information below. You can reach out to me directly. I love having personal conversations about this stuff and what we'll be doing. At the base level, it's going to be going over transits like I do for these moons, only on a weekly basis, so with time, and then teaching and showing you how to work with your own birth chart to understand where these exact points are working with you. Um, this is the magic. I can tell you after working as a therapist for 27 years, um, it's astrology. There's things that are happening in our personal lives that are just reflecting and vibrating the greater energies at play. So, the more you can understand the energetics, the more you can depersonalize or detach from the pain and the challenge of being human and living through your life and your choices and thoughts and relationships and the things that make it feel hard here, you can expand out and realize it's just a passing of an energetic weather. And you can orient differently. You can have much more self-autonomy and sovereignty if you can orient that way. So, thanks for being here. I will definitely be back with an episode for the new moon in Capricorn, but I'm hoping to see you in a couple weeks for the full moon. So, I will connect with you then. Thanks as always for being here. I appreciate you. I hope you have a beautiful winter solstice. Hope to see you during my little preview talk on Friday and my little transmission. And I hope you have a beautiful holiday season.